gasps on this trading floor. I mean, there wasn't a great deal in this budget, right? Let's just run through the key points first. The bank's remit's been changed against some pretty hefty cuts to the growth forecast.
Well, that's absolutely right. The Chancellor went out of his way many times to stress the word monetary activism. So it seems that it's going to be pretty dull on the fiscal side, pretty active on the monetary side, giving the Bank of England as much room as they could possibly need to try to retune the funding for lending scheme and to really try and make the current policies work a little better rather than trying to introduce new policies. It looks very much like Plan A plus rather than Plan B.
Onto the growth forecast, 6/10, Nick.
Yeah.
For this year, that was what? That was a cut in half.
Yes.
I mean, that was hefty. Is that Osborne giving himself a little bit of wiggle room?
I think the Chancellor is probably sick to the back teeth of missing his own forecasts and especially will not want to be reminded of that in the run-up to the 2015 election. So having essentially kitchen sinked the forecasting process this time around, you have to believe there's a reasonable chance that growth could actually now, for the first time in this Parliament, exceed the Chancellor's forecasts. That sets a very different political climate potentially going into 2015. So I think he's really trying to make the current news as bad as possible to start delivering eventually, at last, a few positive surprises.
On deficit reduction, I mean, we've had a little bit of slippage. How much does that actually matter to the international investor right now?
I don't think the deficit matters really at all, insofar as it's unlikely to change the ratings agency's prognosis. What he has said here very clearly is he's not borrowing for growth, he's actually financing the growth. He's financing growth by spending reductions in 15 and 16. Of course, it remains to be seen whether those are going to materialise, but there's nothing here that's really, I think, would take ratings agencies to rush for their red pencils and downgrade the UK again. So in that context, I think international investors very little to fear from the deficit numbers that we've been presented with today.